Good morning. It is Friday, November 7th. I'm Whitney Turner. Thank you for joining us for Catch Up Quick, WVLT's daily fastcast, airing 10:30 in the morning, Mondays through Fridays. We are still covering the government shutdown for you, and a judge has ordered the White House to fully fund SNAP benefits this month. About 120,000 East Tennesseans rely on SNAP benefits. The Department of Agriculture said earlier this week it would partially fund the program, but now it must tap into a contingency fund to make full payments to states. The judge says it must be done by today. And starting today, the FAA has ordered flights to be cut at 40 airports because of the lingering shutdown and air traffic control staffing shortages. The nation's busiest travel hubs are among those expected to be impacted by this, including Atlanta, Chicago, Denver, Dallas, Los Angeles, New York, and D.C. McGee-Tyson Airport is not on the list, but airport staff say it's hard to predict if there will be an impact here. And starting today, 4% of flights will be cut. Then airlines will have to work that up to 10%. Scott Baker from Maryville says he hopes the changes don't last long ahead of the holiday season.
It's understandable considering what's going on. It just, for me, coming in the holiday season, it saddens me that, we got air traffic controllers and TSA agents that are working for free.
Airlines like American, Delta, and United are offering refunds and for any cancellations. They also say they will work with you to find you another flight. You can find more helpful information about your rights if your flight gets canceled or delayed inside your WVLT News app. And Tennessee relies on people spending part of their paychecks at restaurants and stores. Since we don't have a state income tax and economists say our property tax is low, the state needs to make money off of its sales tax. But right now, people are not spending as much. Tennessee is second in the nation in sales tax rates, but an economics professor at UT says people are not spending as much thanks to inflation and some of the tariffs. That means prices could go up, but he says raising business taxes a lot is not the way to go. Instead, the state should keep them lower.
We're going to have to rely a lot on being able to make sure that more businesses come to Tennessee so we can keep our competitive business climate.
Well, he says right now Tennessee is still in a good spot. Our unemployment rate is low, our GDP is good, but these are things lawmakers are looking at before next year's budget and when the state finds out how much money there is for the future. And speaking of budgets, Governor Bill Lee's budget hearings are happening this week, and education officials are asking for money to beef up security at colleges across the state. They're asking for $350 million. They say it is to make sure universities maintain safety on their campuses. It would pay for more officers, critical equipment for campus police, and strengthen cybersecurity. Also included in the budget meeting, Tennessee is looking to improve health care in rural communities. Governor Lee says the state submitted an application for a federal grant, and that money would come from the Rural Health Transformation Program. Congress approved it back in July. It makes $50 billion available to states over the next 5 years to support rural health systems. And an update in the case against former Tennessee House Speaker Glenn Cassada and his top aide, Cade Cothran. They both have been pardoned by President Donald Trump. It all comes after both were convicted in May on more than a dozen corruption and conspiracy charges. Cassada was sentenced to 3 years in prison and 1 year of supervised release. He was also ordered to pay a $30,000 fine and forfeit $4,600 in profit made from the scheme. It's not clear if Cassada will still have to pay his fine, but we'll let you know as soon as we learn that information. The Tennessee Department of Children's Services is looking for adoptive parents. They say right now more than 450 children are living in state custody. Many of them have been in the foster care system for years. If you are interested in adopting, you must become a certified foster parent. The child must then stay at your home for 6 months before adoption can be considered. Youth Villages, a nonprofit in Knoxville, offers training support and financial assistance if you're considering adoption or fostering. We're going to have that information available for you, including a link to information sessions right now inside your WVLT News app.
Your First Alert forecast with meteorologist Kyle Granger.
10:35 on this Friday morning, and yes, we do have a WVLT First Alert Weather Day because of some of the stronger storms that are going to be moving through as we go into the evening hours. So tonight is going to be one of those nights where you got to pay close attention to the weather app. Here's some of the strong storms at 5 approaching Williamsburg to Jamestown. Out ahead of that, the winds will be gusting near 25 miles per hour for the most of us. Here's 7 o'clock at night, and I know in parts of Scott County, Oneida, there's a home football game kicking off at 7. You see how close some of these reds and oranges are. That's heavy rainfall, also thunder and lightning not out of the question, and some small hail. Let's get it closer to 9 o'clock in the heart of Knox County, over to Maryville, parts of Sevier County, where Sevier County High School has a home football game tonight. Morristown Hamlin travels to Knoxville. You're going to have some showers and storms as you travel into town and back home as well. For those of you heading back over to Morristown, Gatlinburg, Pittman Center, over to Madisonville, heavy downpours. So here's how we're going to break it down for you. As the storms exit on Saturday morning, things do clear out a little bit, but that severe storm risk really is going to be a very fine time from 5 until about midnight tonight. So all of us under a level 1 risk, just as we were yesterday morning. High winds upwards of 50 mile per hour gusts, approaching severe limits, not out of the question as well. That's our primary threat. But hail, lightning, a small tornado could not be ruled out with these storms, and flooding. If you're in one of these high school football stadiums, I know sometimes they have some drainage issues. They try to keep it off of the field, but it goes into other areas. So we're going to watch that very closely here for some flooding concerns. So your high school football games tonight, or even if you're just headed out on the town, we're looking at stormy conditions at times, windy, thunder, lightning, all a possibility. This could lead to some delays for those Friday night games. So let me walk you through what happens here with your first alert forecast the rest of this Friday. Again, we're calm now and through the early afternoon. So 3 o'clock, we do add in that 20% coverage, winds gusting at 25 miles per hour. It's about 5 o'clock and beyond at sunset that we turn the banners red for those showers and storms that will be with us and stormy at times. The forecast where you live, 71 in Knoxville to 70 in Pigeon Forge, 72 Morristown, Greenville, 69 for Kingston to 66 in Crossville. Overnight tonight, the storms early in the evening becoming clearer as we get into our Saturday morning at 55 degrees for the start of the day. And we clear through the day on Saturday. So Saturday afternoon, lots of sunshine to go around, and close to 66 is where we are for the afternoon high. The next big weather maker, yes, we get even colder than that because Sunday evening, the rain that we have around from the next front blowing through starts to transition in the mountains in the way of some snow flurries. And then we all get cold by Monday morning, and that's when we start to see some snow bands that try to work their way through here. Now, Monday morning, I think it's primarily confined to Gatlinburg, Pittman Center, Cosby, over to Hartford, maybe over into Blount County for Townsend. Just a few flurries to get your day started through the day on Monday across the plateau. But notice another burst of energy comes through middle part of the day, and that's when Cumberland, Fentress County starts to see a little light dusting trying to accumulate. I say a light dusting because the ground is still warm. We're still mid-50s for that soil temperature. So that means we got a warm ground to work with. It's going to melt, so it may fall. It just may not accumulate like we would like for it to see. Maybe if you're looking to build a snowman, this may not be your snowman making opportunity unless you're in Gatlinburg over to Hartford, where we could get closer to 1 inch to 2. A few snow flurries, not out of the question from Crossville to La Follette, but really this is going to be a mountain event, so we could have some closures as you're trying to get over the mountain into western North Carolina. All of that will be ironed out as we get closer to Monday. Remember, the models are dealing with lots of information going forward. So for now, we focus on the first alert weather day for strong to severe storms, which can be dangerous tonight. Keep your first alert weather app handy. Then for next week, we start off with those freezing temperatures. Even if we don't get snow, Whitney, it will be cold.
All right, got to break out to the winter gear. Kyle, thank you so much. New information about the devastating plane crash that happened in Louisville, Kentucky earlier this week. The number of deaths sadly rising to 13. And we now know the names of the crew members who were on that flight. UPS confirms Captain Richard Wartenberg, First Officer Lee Truitt, and International Relief Officer Captain Dana Diamond were the crew of the flight 2976. As for those not identified yet, Louisville's mayor says this morning crews are ramping up operations.
There's so much debris there. There's so much charred, mangled metal that not all of the bodies may have been located until you look underneath certain things. And so that is going through the various layers of debris on the field.
Right now, NTSB is looking at flight data to try and figure out how this tragedy happened.
Our belief is today that there was not a maintenance issue regarding that aircraft prior to the flight subject. UPS, their flight scheduling and all of their crews are being very cooperative with us, providing everything we need.
For the first 2 days after the crash, a lot of rubble and debris had to stay in place to help federal investigators who are trying to piece together what caused this. Now, crews have permission to dig through the wreckage. We're going to continue to follow this. We'll let you know if we get any new information. The Knox County Sheriff's Office wants a county-owned property to be a driving track to train officers, but they want your feedback first. The property is on Foot Mineral Lane in West Knox County. KCSO is hosting a public meeting on November 18th to speak about the project at Grace Lutheran Church on Middlebrook Pike from 6:30 to 8. We reached out to the Sheriff's Office to learn more about the project. We'll let you know when we hear back. And almost 100 new jobs are coming to Knoxville. Company Aqua Membranes says they're expanding manufacturing operations right here in Knoxville. It's being built in the Forks of the River Valley Industrial Park. It's going to create 95 jobs. Aqua Membranes is a leader in global water treatment.
A good example would be Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola wants to make sure your product is both safe to drink, but also, interestingly, product uniformity. So if you get a Diet Coke in Taipei or Texas, they want it to taste the same. The only way that happens is if the water starts the same.
Right now, the company is headquartered in New Mexico. Blessings on Bell Street is about a month away, and Overcoming Believers Church needs your help. They're collecting toys for almost 2,000 people who rely on this event to have Christmas gifts under the tree. But this year, they're giving away food for the first time in more than 20 years. Pastor Daryl Arnold says the idea came after a weekly food giveaway increased fourfold.
We have our own giveaway, food giveaway, grocery giveaway that we do every week called Love Thy Neighbor. And yesterday it quadrupled from how it's been in the past. And so people are really, really hurting. And we don't want people, parents, to say, I'm either going to get you gifts for Christmas or we're going to have a family Christmas dinner, but you can't have both.
Arnold says for the community to fill the gap, they're hoping to team up with businesses and other churches for toy drives, and they're going to take donations at the church. Blessings on Bell Street is Saturday, December 13th, and we've got all the details inside your WVLT News app. The Trump administration announced a new deal with drug makers on Thursday. It's all to lower the cost of some of the drugs that treat type 2 diabetes and obesity, known as GLP-1s. Under the deal, the monthly cost out of pocket could be as low as $50. It all depends on the dosage and your insurance coverage. Drug makers Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly are part of this deal. They make Wegovy and Zepbound.
It's a triumph for American patients that will save lives and improve the health of millions and millions of Americans.
Right now, those drugs can cost up to $1,000 a month. WVLT is proud to be your official station of the Vols. And while we don't have football this weekend, both basketball teams are picking up speed as their seasons begin. Tonight, it's the home opener for the Lady Vols basketball team. Tennessee is looking for its first win of the season against ETSU after coming up short in a hard-fought game against 9th-ranked NC State on Tuesday. Tip-off is tonight inside Food City Center at 6:30. Then tomorrow afternoon, it's the 18th-ranked men's basketball team back in action. They're taking on Northern Kentucky at home. The Vols are coming off a 15-point win over Mercer on Monday. Tip-off tomorrow is 3 o'clock. And tickets are still available for Tennessee baseball's orange and white game coming up Sunday at Covenant Health Park in downtown. The intra-squad scrimmage will be the first time we see the team in action under new head coach Josh Elander. First pitch, 5 on Sunday. Well, we're highlighting historic facts up to our nation's 250th birthday. And on this date in 1944, President Franklin Roosevelt was elected to a 4th term as U.S. president. He had lifted the nation from the Great Depression and had led the nation from the beginning of World War II. Roosevelt died from a stroke in 1945 after serving 12 years in office. Congress later passed an amendment limiting presidents to just 2 terms. Thank you for joining us. Remember, you can stay up to date on WVLT.tv, inside your WVLT News app, and on WVLT's social media pages. We'll have your top headlines here at noon.